I'm ready.
Get that French driving scarf ready.
I think we're
Denise is
live.
here. She's got her
Whoa.
breezy. Oh my goodness, what's happening?
Whoa. I got my easy breezy scarf
There
here.
we go. I just like it when you do that, when you like throw
You
it
like that?
across.
Yeah, well,
It's
I almost
very
knocked the
dramatic.
computer down when I did it before. Hi,
That is
everybody.
hello,
I've got my
hello.
my Easter kind of colors on, even though it's not Easter until Sunday.
Yes, you do, and you look gorge.
So do you, darling. So do you.
And so Denise texted me right before the show and said, "Hey, we're doing purple for Easter, right?" And I was like, "Yes." And then I
Easter
had
just
nothing
snuck up.
purple except something super, super casual.
That's okay. That is okay. So, welcome everybody. I'm Denise and Bessie, CEO and founder of Vibes Music and Muscle Mix Music. And Vibes is our brand new app that has real music by real artists. And with the app, it's like Spotify on steroids because you can take the original song, change the tempo, create nonstop mixes, move the playlist around after you create the nonstop mixes. And it's just all around a lot of fun.
Amen. It sure
And
is.
Kelley, who are you? You want to give an overview?
I'm this super casual geekoid over here.
That's right. That's right.
I'm Kelley Coulter. I am obsessed with helping personal trainers, fitness instructors, and coaches create programs so that you can stop doing per session and hourly work and make a more profitable, sustainable living from the skills that you already have.
That's right.
That sounded really well rehearsed, didn't it? That
It
sounded
sounded great.
almost like I knew what I was doing.
You do
Like,
know what you're doing. You're very good at what you do. And we're very excited to, well, should we talk about who's coming or
let's
I don't
talk
know what
about
you
who's
prefer?
coming, and then let's do our best things for the week. So who's coming today is William Kelley. We are going to talk with William Kelley about the mind-body connection and how to use pieces of mind-body modalities to augment what you're already doing with your clients, whether you teach group classes, whether you're a personal trainer. What are the ways that you can use pieces of yoga or ideas from yoga, ideas from Pilates, that sort of thing in what you're already doing to augment the results that you're getting for your clients?
Yeah. I love mind body is my favorite, one of my favorite subjects because the mind has such a huge role in
Mm,
everything we do, say, diseases, everything. So I can't wait to see what
amen.
William has to say on that subject. I like
Amen.
William a
So
lot.
true. I've been thinking so much lately about how it starts with belief, and I used an example last week when I did my free 3-day training that I do about once a month or so. Um, I was seeing that if you got in your car and your intention was to go to the store, but you didn't believe you were actually ever going to make it to the store, you would never start your car. Like, that's how big, like, belief is, and so
Yeah,
when we talk mind body, like, I think it's really similar, like, you the mind controls what the body is capable of and the
so
results that you
true.
get from your body.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's one of my favorite subjects. It's amazing. I mean, you see, I mean, the difference between two athletes, let's just say in the Olympics that's coming up here in July. You know, the big difference between the two athletes that are neck and neck in track is their mind, in my
Mhm,
opinion. Who wants it
mhm.
more or who has faith that it's going to happen more than the
Mm,
other, you know? So it's huge.
huge, huge,
All
huge.
right. Yeah, I'm
Alright.
really excited about that. So,
Okay, so tell me about your best things from this week. I got a couple.
well, you got a couple. Okay, well, other than it being Easter, and why do I like Easter? One word: chocolate. Um,
Amen.
no, I mean I'm not very religious. We're not going to go there, but I do celebrate Easter in terms of the traditions like
Well, you're
eating with
Italian, you come from a
family.
Catholic
I'm
family.
Italian. Yep,
Yeah.
come from Catholic family, eating and Easter egg
Eating.
hunting
Eating is
still.
a tradition.
Eating is it is a tradition. And Easter egg hunting with the kids, my
Mm,
kid and my niece and nephew and all that. But so I do like it. I think it's the beginning of spring. I mean, it's tulips, which is my favorite flower, and nice colors. I like spring. I'm a spring girl.
Mhm.
I'm not a summer girl. Spring all the way, fall all the way, not summer.
Well,
Anyway,
we were also saying right before we came on that, with the kids getting older, it's so nice to not have to, like, do the Easter bunny thing and the Easter baskets thing. Some people are gonna think I'm terrible because they love that stuff. I was just not one of those people who,
I'm
like,
just not
loved
either.
doing that stuff. I was like it just added stress for me. It's like
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I almost, like, hate December because it's my daughter's birthday, it's Christmas, and it's all on me, and it's so much pressure.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm more organic. If I want to buy you a gift, I'm going to buy you a gift. If I'm going to do something nice for you, I'm going to do something nice for you. I don't want to
Mhm.
feel forced. Is that what it is for you too? Like
That's a
when
good
it's
one, yeah.
forced, it almost takes away the fun. I don't know.
But I almost
Anyway, but
did like doing that Easter stuff more than I liked Christmas. It wasn't as much pressure, so it was, like,
yeah,
the right amount of pressure.
yeah, yeah. No, it's true. It's true. I never did the Easter bunny.
Ah.
My daughter gives me a hard time about that. But how many things can you do? The Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus. It's just too much.
Well, so I'll tell you something about that. I when I first had my son, I didn't wanna do Santa Claus because I really don't you guys hate on me in the live or in the replay, it's fine, I totally, totally get it. I don't like the Santa Claus tradition. I don't like the idea of handing my kid to a stranger and putting him on somebody's lap and then saying, "Tell him you love him, give him a kiss, give him a hug." Like,
That
especially
is
20
awkward.
years ago when my kids were little, like,
Yeah, yeah,
now people are a little bit more conscious of that, but
yeah, yeah.
I was not interested in handing my kid to somebody and I was not interested in somebody else getting the credit for the presents. Like, what was the point? I did not get it.
Interesting,
But my
interesting. It
family was
doesn't,
like, "If you don't do Santa, then you will ruin it for everyone, so you have to do it." And I gave in.
I don't know why. I can't even pinpoint why I enjoyed it, but I don't have to do it anymore, so that's good. Um, so that's what it's
So
all about.
Easter's
Easter
exciting for
without having.
you.
So Easter is good. Okay, so my good thing for the week is I want to point out if you love remixes the way I love remixes. So what is a remix? Back in the day in the 70s when a song came out prior to disco, all songs were 2 to 3 minutes in length and they put them on the radio and they were just radio versions of songs. But when disco came out, it was when remixes were born because it was like, oh, we need the disco version. It used to be called remixes, used to be called the disco version. And what that meant was people started going out dancing in nightclubs, discotheques, they were called. You're too
Mhm.
young for this. They were called discotheques. So they had to make the song long so because they had to add a beginning and an end to the base of the song so the DJ can mix. You can't really mix when someone's singing. So they had to create an
Wait,
intro.
is that why songs from the '80s, the intro and the outro is so
That's right.
long, and
That's
why they
right.
repeat the chorus over and over and over?
That's right.
This
That's
is
right.
great.
Yeah.
We like to
Yeah.
do a lot of karaoke and it's, like, so uncomfortable when you get one of those songs where the outro is, like, 2 minutes long and you're just going, "I'm all out of love." Like, over and over and over again.
That is very funny. It's true.
Nancy's saying, "Hey, gals." I know Nancy can appreciate this because I know she is a music person.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, and again, this is just my sort of anecdotal history. Okay, this is just my experience. It may not be factual, but yeah. So disco versions of songs came out back in the 80s, 70s, 80s when they had to add a big long intro before the song started and a big long outro, so the DJ can mix the two songs together.
Mhm.
Nowadays, remixes have gotten so fancy because you have equipment, you have digital. But I love a good remix. I love songs. I love when they take a remix and they keep the heart and soul of the song, but then just add some things to it
Just
to
adds
just
like a
pump
little familiar chorus or a little like
yeah.
refrain from
Yeah, to
a
pump
different
it up,
song.
because if a song, even if, especially if a
It
song
gets you
is
excited
slow,
because then you hear this
gets
other
you
little thing that you recognize.
yeah, I don't know if anybody who doesn't like a remix. But anyway, so we released on the Vibes app 2 the remixes, they're called, and they're like hours long of songs that have been remixed from popular people like Lady Gaga, the Black Eyed Peas, Katy Perry. Uh, it goes on and on. So it's a lot of fun. Rihanna, Snoop Dogg, Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey has a beautiful slow song called Young and Beautiful that's been remixed. And now it's 130 beats
So
per
wait,
minute.
who's making
So
the
stuff like that.
remix? Are you saying that like users of the app are
No,
using it to remix? Okay, so you're
no,
saying that they're
no.
being
The
released as
the
okay.
label is releasing them. So it's a different DJs. It's different DJs. The label, contracts with different DJs to create these
Oh my gosh,
remixes.
that is
So
so fun.
yeah, yeah, isn't that awesome? So
Okay,
check
so
them out.
are you making a section on the app that's like newest remixes?
We should, but we
I like
have
that.
two. If you type in remixes, the
Mhm.
two albums come out. We created two of them with all the remixes.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's great for fitness. Remixes are great for fitness because it's a nice steady beat. It's one
Mhm.
BPM all the way through. It takes out all the dropouts, all the slow parts.
I love it.
Anyway,
You
I'm
guys
hogging. I'm hogging the time, so I'm done. That's all I
no,
have to say.
that is exactly what we wanted to hear. I think it's really important for you to talk about new music every week because people
Oh,
need to know, like, when when you get this is gonna come
for
out
sure.
wrong. When you get old like me, like, I'm not listening to the radio all the time,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
when I get in the car, I listen to audiobooks, and I'm not up
Mhm.
on music. I'm not teaching in-person cycle
Sure.
anymore, so I'm really not up on what's coming out, and hearing you
Oh,
talk about the new music helps people put their playlists together, so
for
I
sure.
think it's
For
really,
sure.
really important.
Okay. Good point.
Yeah.
Good
You
point.
guys give me a hashtag live if you're watching live, and then give me a hashtag replay if you're watching in the replay. I would love to just see who's here. I think it's really great for us to know who's watching because we know you guys. You're our audience. You've been with us for a long time. We can like talk about things that you're interested in when we see that you're watching. So let us know that you're here. Nancy said hi already. Hello, Nancy. Good to see you.
Nancy.
Okay, I'll
So
talk
tell
about
me,
my
what are
best
your favorite?
thing.
Yeah, what are your best things?
Thank you. I'm going to shorten mine. So I was gonna talk about the gua sha, and then I was gonna tell you guys something else about my face routine that's like really, really funny. But I'm gonna save
Oh.
that because
Save
it's
it for
gonna
next
take a
week, and I'll shut up. I won't talk as much.
okay. Oh, stop. But I will give you one little thing that is my favorite this week that'll be shorter. I bought this thing for my daughter and myself at Christmas, and I have been scared to use it. So it's one of those things that it's an IPL and it like flashes light into your skin. It's supposed to like kill the
Hmm.
hairs. So it's supposed to be like laser hair removal.
Oh.
I've been scared to use it because I thought it was going to be super painful.
And
So
have you
this
used it?
week this week I finally like I got it out and I'm like standing in the bathroom and I'm just sweating. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, am I going to do this? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do this?" And I turned it all the way down and I did it and it didn't hurt and I was like, "Yes."
Nice. You
Yeah,
love that kind of stuff. That's something I
I
learned when
know.
we traveled together. That's awesome. Okay.
Me too. I like all
Speaking
the
of,
girly stuff.
you're gonna love this, or maybe not. I was talking to a mom the other day, another mom, and she says, "Wait just a minute, Denise. She found a piece of one single hair sticking out of my cheek, and she pulled it out. How embarrassing!"
What is her number? She is probably my best friend. I need to talk to her like
She's
right
you.
now.
You. That's something totally you would do. Oh
I
my
used to
god.
carry tweezers. Okay, we're making William really uncomfortable. I
Yeah,
gotta stop.
we better
I
get
used to
William
carry
away.
tweezers in the car because my husband has a hair that grows in his face, and every once in a while I would see it, and I would just like at a stoplight, and he'd be like, "Stop doing that!"
Well, I appreciate it. I don't say stop. I'm like, great, thank you. I didn't notice that. Thanks a lot.
Wow, this went off the rails so
Yeah, this
far.
went
Let's
way off
pull
in a
it
hundred
back.
different directions. Let's get back to mind body. Yes,
If you
mastering the mind body
believe you won't
connection.
grow hair under your arms, you won't grow hair under your arms. But you also need an IPL.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds
All
good.
right.
Sounds good.
Switching gears.
Yes.
William Kelley. So excited to have him here. Let me read off his bio. He is not his BO.
His bio. Yes.
Goodness, we are really off the rails today. Okay, so he's been an instructor since 95. I've been an instructor since 94. Denise, 80 something, right?
86.
86.
Long time.
We
Yeah.
we are. Yes. You know what else I want to talk with you about, William, if you've got thoughts on it? Pay scale for instructors since the
Oh boy.
90s and today.
Yeah. Let's bring him on.
Okay, so he's been teaching traditional cardio and strength. He has cardio kickboxing, step aerobics, yoga aerobics. I want to hear what that is. Water fitness, and he's always used muscle mixes, and now he's a partner with us. So, but he's had a multifaceted career. He's doing mental health, fitness, and alternative and complementary medicine, meditation, and music. So he understands the full scope of wellness. And so he works in private practice, and then he offers virtual classes on Zoom, and he's in Burnalong doing a lot of things.
Yep.
Lives in rural Vermont, has 2 Amazon parrots. I want to hear all these things.
Bring him out. Come on out. William Kelley, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
I feel like I'm on the Tonight Show. Hi, William.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you.
So good to have you here.
I'm really disappointed though. I missed the purple memo.
I know.
Yours is close. It's a springish color. I would say it's spring adjacent.
Yeah, we're celebrating, Easter, spring, all that kind of stuff. But yes, we'll let you know next time. It was a last minute. I threw it in. It was my fault.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, William, okay, let's start off here. I want to hear about yoga aerobics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, so yoga aerobics is been around for decades now, and it's a combination of traditional fitness with Tai Chi like movements. So it's really, when we're talking about the mind-body connection, it pulls everything together. So people get their heart rates up, and a lot of the movements, you have your arms out to the sides, or big flowing movements that really get the heart rate up. And because you're keeping your arms up the whole time, it really forces the heart to work a little bit harder to pump the blood. So then there's also the body toning component of it. And then the mental aspect of it, when you are totally immersed in what you're doing, the movement, and the music we're talking about. I love remixes too. But I'll have to send you the list of all the playlists I've used for that. But it actually works really well for yoga aerobics because people get into the rhythmic movement of the percussion, especially. And before long, the class is over and you've got an amazing workout. So I love it.
Oh, I want to hear, what kind of music do you use with that?
It can be anything from exotic world music. There are a couple of playlists that I've been using. One, like the Afro beats one, that's amazing. I also like traditional pop, because it can be really, especially if people know the song, like I'm All Out of Love. You got me thinking about that, Kelley. And the songs are going over and you get into the rhythm of the music. So really anything works. Between about 120 and 140 beats per minute can be great.
That's what I was going to ask you next. What's the BPM?
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Very cool. So I would like to ask, if you don't mind my asking, Kelley, William, how did you get started in, let's talk about mind body, since that's what we're here to talk about mostly. How did you get started into teaching yoga or any mind body modalities?
Yeah, sure. So I've always had a dual interest in mental health and fitness. But back in the days when, I guess I was going to say I was grandpa fitness, but I guess we've all been here for a while. So, but back in that day, you really focused, fitness classes weren't focused a lot on how is the emotional reaction to the class. No one's talking about that. They're just like, give me the workout. Let's work as hard as we can for an hour and then get out of here. And obviously over time it's changed, but so it was really different. I felt like I had two different worlds. I'd go to the gym, teach the classes there, and then go to the counseling office and do that separately. Back in the day, I think we were all kind of doing body mind, but we didn't call it that, and it wasn't mainstream. So what happened was, I was working in a health club, a YMCA, and they were actually doing a pilot program to see what happens if your trainers are more emotionally aware. And so they hired me specifically because I had the mental health background. And I tell
What
this
year was
story,
this?
1998, something like that.
Wow,
Wow, that
that's
was really
real.
forward thinking in 98.
I
It
wonder why
was
they were wanting to do that. That's pretty cool.
Well, it was actually part of what they were doing was giving every member who joined a personal trainer. But what they were realizing was that sometimes the personalities of the personal trainer and the client didn't mesh. So
Flash, yeah.
yeah, there was a clash, and they felt like they were losing members. So they actually hired like physical therapists, mental health counselors, things like that, who also had the fitness background. So it was actually a business decision. It wasn't about let's explore mind
Wow.
body, but
That's
it ended
awesome.
up for me. So I always tell this story. I was working with a woman. We're going around the Nautilus circuit, and we get to the bench press part, and
Yeah.
she's lifting up, her arms get about here, and she bursts into tears, and she starts crying. And I thought, oh my god, she's hurt. So I said, oh, are you okay? And she said, oh yeah, I'm fine. And through tears she explained that it reminded her of the time in gym class when she couldn't lift the bar. And so this was an emotional reaction, and it clicked with me that there's a physical link here. So we're asking people to do physical things, but it's going to trigger emotional stuff. And then in the flip
Interesting.
side, in the flip side, I remember being in the counseling setting, and we always learned techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy and things like that, how to change your thoughts to feel better. Nobody was suggesting, if you have a client who's depressed, invite them to go out for a walk. That was just
Wow.
not.
That was
So
unheard of back then, yeah.
it was in the mid to late 90s. So I remember specifically with clients with depression, I just asked them, what's your physical activity like, and how much time are you getting outdoors with fresh air? And I actually started giving the homework assignment to people. What if you did a 10-minute walk outside in the fresh air? And again, it sounds like, duh, of course,
So
today we
obvious.
were at, but then it wasn't. Nobody was doing this. So I'd have people go, a lot of times they wouldn't do it, but the people who did do it would come back and they'd say, I'm so refreshed. I feel so much better.
Always.
And again,
Always.
Amazing. So, William, I think we skipped over this a little bit, but you are a counselor on top of being a fitness professional.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
think we
So
did.
you're like in the office doing traditional like talk therapy.
As
And then now
traditional as I
you
can.
are giving them homework
Or
assignments.
non-traditional, yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And now they're saying, I'm sure you've got a lot more to say about this than I do, but they're saying that exercise is a better antidepressant than antidepressants.
Every research study that I'm aware of shows that it's as effective or more effective than traditional antidepressants. So
Unbelievable.
and it's so simple. It's so
simple. Just get off the couch. I don't even want to say it like that because that's insensitive.
Well, I wonder if the reason, or part of the reason why they didn't say that back then, was because there wasn't as much of a need to say that. We are more sedentary today.
Yes.
We do sit in front of a
Amen.
computer today than we did then.
True.
So it's almost like
I
it
mean,
reached that point where now we realize it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, there were people that loved the TV set, but that was about it, or then when video games came out. But now, I mean, some people can sink in, and I'm no psychologist, but they sink into a depression, a young boy, a young girl, by just, sitting in their room playing video games with nonstop for like days at a time,
Right.
So anyway.
I'd say that's completely a big part of what happened. The other part of what happened is psychologists and counselors came from a very medical based model. So these were typically, no offense, but men who were older, who had traditional, the counseling field as we know it is less than 150 years old. These people were trying to figure out why some people were getting depressed. There was no desire to sit in a room and talk to people, but that's what they ended up doing. So they weren't going outside for walks, and they weren't recommending it to their clients either. They were saying, come and sit down and tell me what's wrong.
Oh, interesting.
You know, I think that's really interesting too, because I've been really open about this. I really turned a corner on my anxiety and depression. I don't know, 5-6 years ago, but I was and when I was in corporate America, I was like super depressed and unhappy, and I went into counseling. And I remember a lot of times walking out of counseling, just feeling almost like I was like re-traumatizing myself, like you're reliving these things.
Yeah.
And when I started working more on my thoughts than working on like trying to figure out what was wrong with what happened to me in the past, that's one of the things that really helped me turn a corner. So it's almost like,
interesting.
Yeah. So I guess that just speaks to like how being on the couch doesn't help for a variety of reasons.
No.
For a million reasons.
Yeah.
That's great. So, wow, William, so you started, how did you start incorporating that into fitness early on, or how do you do it now, I guess?
Yeah. So one of the things that I do is I've broken down the barrier for myself. So whereas at one point I would completely be, in the fitness world and not trying to avoid thinking about mental health and vice versa.
Yeah.
And then maybe, I don't know, I started working in college counseling centers, and the model that we were trying to develop at the time was an integrated model. So we were offering fitness classes, yoga classes, meditation, acupuncture, while also doing group counseling or group dynamics work, so people could learn. To Kelley, to your point, therapists traditionally weren't trying to fix people, they were trying to understand people. So they were asking people to tell them all of the traumas they had so that they could see the link. And so what I've learned for myself is it doesn't usually help people to go over and over the traumas that they went through. What helps people is to ground in comfort, safety, and then build on the skills. So that's kind of what I do in counseling. I try to figure out what are the things that make you feel like life is worth living. Where's your purpose? And who are the people that help inspire you to get there? And so there's that sort of conversation. Then trying to get people to do physical activities that involve all of those things. So, I'm a fitness person. I love step aerobics. I love, those things. But a lot of people, no, there's a reason step was so popular in the 90s and it's not so much today. But, so getting people to find what it's all about purpose is really what it is. And you can talk to people about purpose. Like if you're a fitness professional, you're doing an intake with a new client. So what brought you here today? What's your purpose? What are your goals? And then how are we going to measure to make sure you're moving on that? And there's got to be fun, and there's got to be reward. Most people are motivated by reward, not punishment. So, and a lot of people view fitness as a punishment.
Yeah.
Really?
I did when I was I hated gym class. I used to get this this horrible cough every day because I didn't want people to see how few pull-ups I could do, or I'd get winded at the 600-yard run or whatever. That was embarrassing. The gym teachers at the time would call you out on that. And I remember one gym teacher saying, we're all going to stay here until everyone in this class does at least one pull-up. Well, guess who couldn't do one pull-up? I couldn't do a pull-up. So,
we would have been there till now for me.
And
that
because
the girls couldn't do it.
Right. And in my era, they actually had gender specific. So young women just had to hang. They didn't have to do a pull-up. Yeah. And so there were all sorts of comments. Well, why don't you go over there with the girls and just hang? And so a lot of this got imprinted in my mind. And I'm really, and having 3 older sisters growing up, it made me really aware of gender and how that plays out. It's really about connecting with people and finding what so you don't like step aerobics, you don't like pull-ups. What are your goals, and how can we kind of look at you holistically and integrate everything?
Are people pretty good at being in touch with their goals slash feelings? Like I find, at least, well, I'm talking about my daughter as a teenager. She has a very hard time talking about her feelings.
Oh,
She
yeah.
just can't communicate it.
No,
So how do you, as a professional, pull that out of her or
that
him?
is that's a great question. And I think that this probably hasn't helped us
Exactly.
because you're not texting people, I'm feeling overwhelmed by the things in my day. No, you're like,
Exactly.
this happened, this happened. You're very
Yeah.
focused on the content of life. So in counseling, we think about the content. That's the stuff that's happening to us. And then we also think about, but how does that make you feel? The old stereotypical question from counselors. I
Yeah.
try not,
How does that make you feel? Yeah.
yeah, I try not to word it that way because that can be a turnoff to people. But sometimes I'll ask things like, so what emotions are you experiencing right now?
That's good.
Mm.
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah, I like it.
mindset coach that would always ask me, where do you feel that in your body?
Yes. Yeah. Talk
Hmm.
about a way to integrate body and mind. Where are you
Sure.
feeling your emotion?
That's a good one. They gave my daughter a wheel um, in
Yeah.
this thing that she does at school that like says, okay, if I'm angry, it also means I'm afraid, or it also means, so she has words to
Does
use.
it like go out? Like there's a
Yeah,
core emotion here
yeah,
and then
yeah, and then it
okay. I think I've
expands.
seen
Yeah,
that somewhere.
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So what about for the clients though? Like, let's say they just say, "Oh, I'm just here to lose weight," which is probably the number one. Would you say?
Yeah.
Do they really mean that, or do they? I mean, now we're getting really deep. Is that
Yeah.
really what they mean? Do you think? Are they there to lose weight?
Well, see, this is where the mind body, it's a interesting question because
Yeah.
people have surface level motivations, which are often extrinsic. So in our society, everybody wants to lose weight because they have this image of how their body should be. But there's also
Should, right?
should, yeah.
I
But
see.
there's
I
also
see.
underlying reasons. So maybe, and this is where the mind body connection comes in, maybe someone's carrying that weight for a reason. Maybe they're feeling vulnerable in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And who wouldn't in this world, first
Yeah.
of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of that is not
So you're
just,
saying like the weight is almost serving them? Like they think they
yes,
come in because they want to lose weight, but the truth is they're getting something out of having the extra weight.
yeah,
Like they just don't see it.
yep. People could have ideas like, well, I'm not lovable because I'm overweight. So they don't have to address the issue of, but I am lovable. And what's wrong with other people for not seeing it in me? So
Mm,
it's a way of preventing getting hurt for some
gotcha.
people, not
Mhm.
everybody.
Not everybody.
Sure.
Yeah. No, that's, I wonder if it's like a protective layer too, because like
Totally.
Mhm.
a lot of teens wear hoodies, and I think it's just because they want to feel cozy and
Yeah.
protected. I mean, I live in Florida, and they're wearing hoodies in January.
Oh,
I'm sorry, in June. So I mean, so
So
that's
William,
interesting.
what you go ahead, Denise, because I think
Mm-mm.
like
Go
what
ahead.
what I was going to ask, well, I was going to like kind of like wrap it up and bring it full
Yeah, yeah,
circle. But if you've got
please.
something before
No,
that, do
no,
that.
you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, what are the best ways that you can tell fitness professionals today to bring some sort of mind, body, emotional awareness, um, thought work kind of stuff into the facility to help their clients?
yeah, that's a great question. I'm sure there are lots of great ways to do it. For me, I actually break down when I'm meeting with a client. I have uh, a core list of things. Like
This
I
is a
do
personal training client or this is a therapy
any
client?
personal training, new to fitness, mental health. It's actually, and that's what I was saying about breaking
Mm,
down the walls. I approach everything the same because I think
mm,
it is all the same. If you're
interesting.
going to counseling to work on your issues, your physical body is deeply connected to that. So,
Interesting.
and vice versa. So I'll go in with the mindset, like in counseling, we do really specific intakes where we'll
Okay.
go through and ask all the questions that maybe Freud thought was interesting to know. But then moving away from that. And so I always ask questions about physical activity. I ask basic care things like, how's your sleep? How do you do with eating? What about your water intake? So I'm getting a picture of how the person lives. I'm trying not to judge it. I'm just trying to
Right.
take
Right.
it in and understand the person's world.
Yeah.
And I also know I've been on all sides of the spectrum: happiness, sadness, weight
Of course.
up, weight down. So I'm
Yeah.
just trying to understand. I'll also ask about mental health. Like, how do you feel about being here today?
Yeah.
What emotions did you notice coming in? And then I try to
Wow.
validate. I can't say enough how important validation is for
Oh
people.
boy. Oh boy. I
If
agree.
I've
you
noticed every time we ask a question, he says that's a really good question.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
No, that's a good thing. It's
Oh, is it good?
validation. He's saying,
Oh, he's
thank you for asking
validating.
me the question. And
People skip over validation. I
totally.
find people tend to, and I'm generalizing, but oftentimes will just quickly respond or give their opinion, especially if it's a parent-child relationship
Yeah.
or spouse or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
instead of saying, wow, that's really great, but
Right.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I think people will often, they want to relate, so they bring the story right back to them, and they don't
Exactly.
ever validate what the person just said. So
Exactly.
if the person is already struggling with self-esteem and you pour yourself out to a trainer or somebody else and they don't even acknowledge it,
I know.
you're going to pull back and maybe not
oh
share
my
as much.
gosh, so true.
Yeah.
I have a few people in my life that I deal with who are very narcissistic, and right away they'll say, like, I this, like I just did, I this and I that. And I find
Bring it
myself
right
getting
back.
really depressed when I have to spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
I feel sad.
Well, because it's not, when you think about that, Kelley, it's not an interaction. It's not a
Yeah.
relationship.
It's not a
It's a
two-way.
one, it's not two-way. So you pour yourself out and then the person makes it about them. So yeah,
Interesting.
This is
So far you've
fascinating.
said purpose, finding someone's
purpose.
purpose,
Yep.
validating them.
Yes.
Any other little tidbits that you
Yeah.
could, for a non-mental health professional
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for
that you
doing
can
that,
give?
Denise. That was really good.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
you can give to a fitness professional. I love the word purpose is such an amazing word to me.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear what else you have to say about it.
Yeah. And I should say, it isn't really a cookie cutter approach that I use.
No,
It
of
really
course.
from person to person and setting.
Sure.
But I will ask a lot of these questions. Another really important thing is, who's rooting for you? Who's in your corner?
Oh, I love that.
Because a lot of times people have family members that say, oh yeah, you got to lose weight, and then they're buying them junk food, or not inviting them for a walk.
Right.
So there's that going on. But then you also have the cheerleaders who are awesome, who are like, what do you need? I'll be there. So
I love that.
I like to get people thinking about who's in their corner, who can they depend on, and do
Mm.
they need specific help from the person? Would it be helpful if the person invited you for a walk, or sent you a text message in the morning and said, you got this, or they just want to be left
That's
alone?
so good. I love that.
Yeah.
Who's rooting for you? And I bet you get a lot of people crying because maybe they
Uh,
think nobody's rooting for them,
and then they
I'm sure
realize,
there's always somebody rooting for somebody, but they may not realize it.
right.
Or
And
they don't surround themselves around people who root for them. But
or
anyway,
or it's themselves. Like,
or
they
it's,
count too. So reminding people, I always ask people, like, what's your level of hope and belief? Do you feel like you can do this? What do you need to be successful? Are there any blocks standing in your way?
wow. These are great. I'm writing these down. That's
Good. Let's put
really,
them in the
really
show
good.
description afterward.
Yeah, I mean, purpose, validation, who's rooting. I love who's rooting for you. And are there any blocks standing in your way? That's awesome. I
Yes.
So,
mean,
William, how do you bring this work, the fact that you've kind of taken the barrier down between the fitness side of what you do and the counseling side of what you do? How do you bring that into the work you do in Burn Along?
Oh, great. Well, Burn Along is awesome. I don't know how much your viewers know about it, but they're,
Tell us
they're
everything. Nancy's a big Burn Along person too, I
is
believe.
she?
No, it might not be Nancy that I'm thinking of. Nancy,
So
are
it's
you
a
a Burn Along?
corporate, fitness program, right? Basically,
it's
video on demand. On
wellness.
demand
Yeah,
wellness, corporate wellness.
but
Yeah.
you have live options, so you can do live classes,
Okay.
and then you create an on-demand library. They do offer individual memberships too, so you don't just have to be part of a company, but that's a big part of where we get people from. And because it's a sort of a one-stop shop, they're doing mind body without really calling it that. So for me, like, I have classes on everything. All the fitness stuff is on here. I do mental health presentations, what's seasonal affective disorder, what's, so, and then a lot of it, like, right before this class or this session, I got to do a class live on meditation, and we were talking today about releasing that voice, the critical self voice, and using the physical body to do it. So it's just open. You can do anything you want, and it's a really great way to practice. You mentioned that I'm in rural Vermont. I am really, and there aren't a lot of people doing this here. So I'm able to reach people from around the world, 70 countries around the world.
Wow.
Oh, I love
This is
it.
amazing.
How long have you been on Burn Along?
I started right a couple of months after the pandemic started. So I think 2019, around then.
And you're one of the top instructors, right? From what I understand.
I'd like,
yeah.
I'd like
most,
to be.
Most viewed, I guess. Most viewed.
I think
wow.
I'm on there so much people can't help but finding my classes.
Yeah. That's the key. Just create content all the time.
I'm sure you're likable as well. I'm sure that's the other reason. Anything you want to promote, William? I mean, anybody, you want to tell people how to reach you? Do you want?
Definitely give the website, please. And I'll put it in the comments as well.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was so excited to come here today. I wasn't really thinking about should I be promoting anything, but my website is www.navaz, that's NAVAZ.net. And in case you're wondering, what is that?
What is that?
Navaz is an ancient word that means gift. And I feel like all of the things that I get to do in my life are gifts. So that's what it is. It includes music. I do my own music, but I have to tell you, I've been enjoying Muslim mixes for so long, and now being able to use the Vibes music app, it's a game changer because I can actually use real songs by real artists.
I know, it's amazing.
Licensed, and
we're so happy to work with you, William.
I love it. Last week, I did, some of the people who are here watching today did a class with me. We choreographed Taylor Swift's Shake It Off, and I've never been able to do that before.
I want to see it. I want to see the choreography. I want to learn it.
I don't know if you want to see it, but
let's put it in the Grow Your Business group and put it in the Fitness Music Lounge.
I really want to learn it.
It's so fun. But so that's what I want to promote for instructors who, and even Zach was here with us.
Yeah.
One of the things, even in our Facebook chat for instructors on Burn Along, people today were saying, what do I do about music? How do I play music that's cool. A lot of us weren't even taught when we got trained and certified in fitness. We didn't know about music. And so now in this world of on-demand libraries, people need to know. And I think the Vibes app is such an easy, it's so easy. You type in the songs you want, push play, and you got your own pre-mix. No more.
We love working with you. We love working with William. You're great.
I'm so glad you brought that up, William, though, because I think people need to know that working with Vibes is possible as a solopreneur, because when we first came out, the product was more expensive than it is now. And we brought it to where it's really reasonable and it is doable for a solopreneur.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So I'm glad that you brought that up and good.
Walking meditations. Oh, okay. You got a little publicist over there.
Yeah, you do. I love it. Super fan.
Hi, Zach. William, you're great. Come back anytime if you ever want to conduct a meditation. Well, I don't know if we can do that. Can we do that?
We could put it in the app.
I don't know. Yeah, but any other ideas you have, if you ever want to come back.
Thank you.
Because I could talk about this all day. I have so many questions about everything you said. But I'm gonna go off of these tidbits and purpose, validation, who's rooting for you, and what blocks are standing in your way. And I'm sure you have a million other things, and you've said a lot of other stuff, but just so we narrow down a couple of things that instructors can take away.
William,
This was
so,
great.
so good. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to
Thank
be here.
you.
We'll see you again soon.
So
Let's do it
nice to
again.
All right.
see you,
You
and
too.
we'll see you again next time. Happy
All right.
Easter, or if you celebrate. Okay, bye.
Okay, so well, Denise left. Okay, I think we're done, you guys. We will see you next week. I'll show you the gua sha. And I'll tell you the other thing about the skin routine. And we will be talking to, I don't know who we're talking to, but I do know that Kathy and Stacy from Core V3 are coming in April, and lots more. So we will see you guys soon. Oops.